conclude.
Perfect. Perfect. So thank you everyone for being here. We are at the Rec Innovation Lab at San Diego Miramar College. We have with us students from Miramar and from SDSU and just all around San Diego who are here to hear from our very special guest, Sudarshan. Sudarshan Shanak, I've known for years as we've worked together before the pandemic. Sudarshan is the director of the SBDC, and he's the SBDC for our region here, and has been really just amazing at helping founders in the area with all sorts of issues that they might face, and the advice that he gives, it's invaluable. It's amazing. It's a free resource. It's something that if any of you want to take advantage of, we can help you get that set up through the rec here. And I'm not going to steal any of your thunder. I'll let you talk a little bit more about the program, Sudarshan. With that, I will hand the floor over to you and let you take it away.
Well, thank you, Tanya, for those kind words. I really appreciate it. I'll take the opportunity here, if you folks will allow me. I'll share my screen.
Absolutely. And anytime you want, yep, you're good to go.
Perfect. So my name is Sudarshan Shanak. A little bit of background about myself, and then who I am with, and then what we do and how we might be able to help you. So yes, I have been a serial entrepreneur all my life. I've owned many businesses. Quite a few of them did not work out, but some of them worked out extremely well. So I then was able to retire at a very young age to San Diego, and found that retirement was pretty boring at a young age, especially after my children, were finishing school. So I decided that I will use my knowledge and experience to try and help other people who might be either looking to start a new business or grow a new one. So about 20 years ago, I joined what is known as the Small Business Development Center program. And my particular program is hosted by Mira Costa College in North San Diego. So let me share with you some information about the Small Business Development Center, the SBDC program. It is the federal government's largest program and is designed really to help improve the technical and managerial skills of entrepreneurs. And we are a resource partner of the United States Small Business Administration and the California Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development. So my center at Mira Costa College is one of over 1,000 centers all over the country. And these 1,000 centers are in large part hosted by institutions of higher learning, colleges and universities in the most part. But there are some SBDCs that are also hosted by chambers of commerce, some economic development councils, and other kind of organizations. So it's a huge program. It's line funded in the federal budget, as well as, of course, in the California state budget. So the mission of the SBDC is very simple. We know that small businesses are the backbone of our economy. But we've also known for half a century that small businesses do not necessarily have all the skills that large businesses have. So recognizing that there's a gap in the resources that are available to small businesses, the federal government back in 1980, that's 41 years ago, created what is known as the SBDC program. So our mission is to help deliver a positive economic impact in our community. And we do that by helping to improve the technical and managerial skills of entrepreneurs. So what do we mean by economic impact? Because these are kind of key indicators of success. And what we are charged with are the following economic impacts. One is the creation, retention of jobs or supporting jobs in general. The second one is helping new businesses get started. The third one is helping individuals, entrepreneurs get capital that may be in the form of debt financing, or it may be in the form of equity financing. And that equity financing may come from you, the entrepreneur yourself, or in some very, good viable cases, it may come from outsiders like angels and VCs and groups like that. But we also know that oftentimes to get funding from anybody outside, you have to be able to put some of your own equity into a business also. The fourth area of economic impact is growth in revenue and sales. And when I talk about growth in revenue and sales, I really want to emphasize I'm talking about profitable revenue and sales, because anybody can go and sell, but until that sale is at a price which is greater than the cost and the money comes back home, the sale really is not made. So increase in sales is another major economic impact, which kind of indicates how businesses are doing, generally. And then the last category that we help people with, and that's through government and large corporation contracts. We here in San Diego are the second largest consumer of military products in the United States. So with this being a Navy city, there's a lot of funding available for small businesses, from welders to people who supply products to IT suppliers and anything in between. So those are the main economic impacts that we are charged to create and measured by. So what services do we provide? To fill this gap that small businesses have compared with large businesses, we do basically two major things. We provide a lot of short-term trainings. Most of our workshops run a couple of hours, and we do a lot of counseling. So our trainings are almost all at no charge, and they are in most aspects of managing a business. The mentoring is always at no charge. It's a no charge to you because we are funded by the federal and state government, as well as in my case by our college, MiraCosta College. And we also get funding from many other public agencies, financial institutions, construction companies, all kinds of folks who are supportive of and need small businesses to work with them so they can complete the work that they're doing. So our counseling is geared toward the specific needs of an individual. So it's customized and it's very, very confidential. We do not sign NDAs with anybody because we're federally funded. And, when you get the opportunity, and I look forward to meeting many of you, you will need to complete some registration. And in that, we make it very clear to you that the services that we provide to you are confidential. So what areas do we cover? Well, we know very well how to run businesses, right? So how to manage businesses, whether it's from a business planning point of view, from a business financing point of view, or internally how to make sure that your accounting is done properly and how you analyze your financials to make sure that you're following the track that you want to be following. We also focus, if it's needed, on cost reductions. Because it's important that as we try and grow our revenues, we also are mindful of our costs and make sure that they don't start going up disproportionately. Government and large corporation procurement, how to actually go about doing business with large corporations, as well as with the local, state, and federal government. Remember, our US government is the largest consumer in the world. They buy everything from lipstick to satellites and aircraft carriers and everything in between. So there's just a huge opportunity for small businesses to be able to participate in that kind of a methodology to grow your sales. We also provide a lot of counseling in marketing, including, of course, social media, e-commerce, particularly using Amazon as the platform. Also, as one looks to expand an existing business, we have the expertise, the knowledge to be able to do that. And finally, of course, for many people who want to start a business, we are able to guide you through the process and show you which is the correct way of starting a business. So with all the counseling and training that we provided in the calendar year 2021, this is the kind of economic impact that we were able to create. This is in calendar year 2021. This is the 9 SBDC centers in the San Diego and Imperial Valley area combined. So we provided business counseling to almost 5,500 clients, and almost 18,000 people participated in the many trainings that we offer. The end result of all this training and counseling was that we were able to help create or retain. Of course, retention was a big thing last year with the COVID-19, and likely to continue to be a big thing in 2021. So 1,350 jobs created or retained. But the next number, the 47,000 jobs supported. These 5,500 people that we counseled, then of course, have employees that work for them and depend upon them. Same with the people who come to our training. So many of them have employees. So this is the number of employees that then essentially are working for these people who have received either counseling or training from us, and tangentially have benefited from the assistance that we have provided. And even with COVID and it appearing like nobody was going to start a business, we did help 144 new businesses get started last year. That's almost 3 new businesses a week, right? Yes, the months of January and February activity was fairly good last year, but as we know, in March it tapered right off. But we still continue to do things our way, making sure that people who are starting a business have a viable product or service, right? And then we provide them all the guidance and the steps to starting a business properly and making sure that they run a legal and ethical business. And I'll talk about that in a minute. So 144 new businesses started, and these clients that we helped, reported increased sales of $103 million last year. So that's a fairly significant number too, almost $2 million, every week, and helped these very same clients get $182 million in loans and equity. We know that the one resource that is always needed, regardless of whether you're a startup or an existing business trying to grow, is money. So the money can come from multiple sources. Of course, you yourself are one of the source. And of course, there are many others outside. So $182 million in both loans and equity combined. And as I had indicated, one of the biggest things that happens when it comes to sales is to kind of broaden one's view and say, in addition to the private sector, I can also sell in the public sector and also look in opportunities to export my products or services. So those are areas that we can talk about with you and help you navigate through the process. Just like financing, getting funding requires fairly significant navigation through a complicated process. The same thing really applies to government contracting. So we have experts who understand and are experienced in those areas and can help and guide you to be able to get some assistance, so you might be able to overcome any obstacle that's preventing you from achieving your organizational goal. So how are SBDC services provided? Like I said, there are 9 SBDCs here in the San Diego and Imperial Valley region. And amongst those 9 SBDCs, we have almost 100 business advisors and trainers with fluency in many languages, not only just English and Spanish, but we have business advisors who speak many of the Oriental languages. We have business advisors who speak many of course, Portuguese, French, some of the European languages, and the Arabic languages, right? as well as some of the languages spoken in Africa. So we have a wide array of business advisors and trainers who can really help a lot of people. Remember, entrepreneurs come in every size, and somebody who is a recent refugee coming to San Diego may have a skill set and may choose to run, for example, a daycare from their home. So even doing that requires the ability to be able to run that business properly. And there may be an additional challenge that that person may not know the culture and the business environment of this country. And so we're able to help and guide them in their language and be able to help them connect with resources to make sure that they can get their business funded to at least some small extent. So multiple languages spoken throughout our program. We also, of course, have the expertise in all facets of managing a business. And currently, we are not doing any in-person counseling or training, and that's all because of COVID-19. So we too, just like everybody else, had to pivot and move all our services online. So right now, all our services are conducted online by phone or using Zoom, just like we are right now. So how do you go about getting to our program? Well, you register to participate in our trainings, whether they're live or on demand. We have a significant amount of trainings on demand. This is to meet the needs of many people who may not be able to attend our instructor-led live trainings. So people can take advantage of that in their own time, at their own convenience. But to be able to do that, and Steve, I think you'll be able to share these links with them. And this is our San Diego Imperial Valley SBDC.org link at the bottom of this particular slide. You can go there and you can take a look at all the services that we provide. And you can also look at the various centers that we provide these services through. But for right now, just remember, distance or location is no barrier at all. So you're welcome to go to any center, and I'll of course look forward to helping you myself. So let me talk here for the next few minutes because I'm an entrepreneur, and like I said, I've had several failures and some very good successes. And based on my knowledge and my experiences, what do I think it takes to succeed in business? I think by far the most important thing is the first one is to make sure that you run a legal business, because running something which is not legal means that you might run afoul of the law somewhere along the line, and that can be very damaging and harmful and costly for your business. So the first thing always to make sure that whatever it is that you want to start, you run a business that's legal, and then for survivability purposes and to make sure that you're able to succeed, making sure that your business is conducted in an ethical manner. Those things to me are very fundamental because that's the culture of your business, and the culture of the business is the one that in the end would survive, right? But then beyond that, there are several things. The one thing that I'm going to talk about next is by far, after running something which is legal and ethical, is by far the most important thing for you to have. Because beyond that, everything else is logistics, right? What kind of business entity am I going to be? Do I need a fictitious business name? Getting an employer ID number, getting a bank account, those are logistics, right? Those can be done. But the first thing, and by far the most important thing, is to make sure that there is a sustainable demand for your product or service, whatever it is that you want to sell. And that demand, not only does it have to be sustainable, it has to be at a price which is greater than the cost, because that's the fundamentals of profitability, right? If your selling price is not over your total cost, then you're not going to be profitable. And of course, we can always have a conversation on what is meant by total cost, but the fact is that anything that's legitimate and necessary to run your operation is a cost of the business. So you have to be able to cover that and then be able to have something beyond that, which becomes your profit. So make sure that whatever it is that you're going to sell, you do some validation of your hypotheses, make sure that there is a sustainable demand for your product or your service, and that you can price it at something which is greater than your cost. And to me, profit really is like the mouth of an alligator. You know, I love the P word, the profit word. And why, to me, does it look like the mouth of an alligator? My sense is that the bigger the alligator and the larger it can open its mouth, the bigger bite it can take. And in many cases, small businesses are not very different than that. So, however, we've replaced the upper and lower jaw of the alligator, example here, with our sales and our costs. Our upper jaw is our sales and our lower jaw is our costs. So we have to be able to drive the sales up. We have to be able to drive our sales up, and we have to be able to drive our costs down. As we open that mouth, the difference between our sales and your costs becomes our profit. So keep an eye on that. And of course, there are many ways to be able to increase our sales. One can sell more to the same customer, one can sell to more customers, or one can look at increasing one's price, right? But the tough part about price or selling price is that is often not dictated by us. It's dictated by some other people who are out there who we call competitors, right? And those competitors nowadays are from all over the world. Whether it's for products or for services, the world has become one. And technology has allowed people to be able to acquire products and services pretty much from anywhere. So selling price is often dictated by competition. I will give you an example. One of the businesses that I owned was in fact a printing business. Many years ago, some of you would remember there was an organization called Kinko's, which is now part of FedEx Office. So I had started a printing business in competition with Kinko's, and of course it was a very profitable business if the competition had allowed me to do so. So the biggest profitable item in the printing industry in those years used to be color copying. Most of us did not have printers at home. So we used to go to Kinko's to get our color copying done, or even the regular black and white copying done. One side of an 8.5 by 11 page of a color copy used to cost $1.50. This was the price at Kinko's. So, and they were booming. There was a 24-hour, 7-day operation, and they had multiple stores. So we started a new franchise, or it was a franchise, and thought that we would sell our color copies at $1.25 or something like that a page, and invested a lot of money in a brick and mortar facility to be able to set up that business. So we advertise color copies all you want at $1.25, and the day before our grand opening, Kinko's, which was about 1.5 miles west of us, dropped the price of their color copies to $1 a page. So even on the very first day that we opened, we started losing money because that was the single one most profitable item. Everything else, the black and white copies and all, were really loss leaders. So we struggled and struggled, for a year, and then had to wind the business down. So my point to you is competition is tough. Always keep that in mind. Unless you are in such a strong position that people are going to overlook the price and look at you for other reasons. I'll give you another example of organizations like Nordstrom. They stand behind their product, no buts, no ifs, and they will always take back something that you think you bought from them. I know that for a fact because my children had given me a tie many years ago, and I did not like it. So I took it to Nordstrom and told them, look, I'm your regular customer. I did not like this tie. And they said, okay, fine, no problem, sir. Just find another one. And I found another one, and the young lady who was serving me said, it's an even exchange. so I brought the new tie home, and I was talking to my children a few days later, and I said, "Oh, by the way, thank you for having given me that tie, and really did not like the color." So I went back to Nordstrom and exchanged it. And so they told me, "What do you mean you went to Nordstrom?" They had not bought the tie from Nordstrom, but Nordstrom took that tie and did not make me feel like, hey, I'm trying to kind of take advantage of them. So they stand behind their product, they stand behind their service, and that's why they can charge more and still do reasonably well. So, competition is tough, but you can have a price which is higher than the competition if you provide additional value, which others do not. So while selling price is often dictated by the competition, the second part of the mouth of the alligator, the lower jaw, which is the cost, that definitely is under your control. You can manage your costs well. It's very important, regardless of whether it is a product business that you have or a service business that you have, that you manage and watch your costs very, very thoroughly. Remember, in the end, I think vast majority of us are going to go into business with a view to making a profit, right? So watch what's happening in your business, whether it's business supplies or business utilities or business rent or payroll costs or research and development costs, everything. You have to keep an eye on that. That is your business. You have to make sure that if the air conditioning is on, for example, the doors and windows are not open, right? If you have paper products and pens and pencils that you carry in your business for the benefit of your staff, make sure that you have reasonable control on it. You'd be shocked to hear that annually within the United States, the cost of pens and pencils and supplies that walk out of businesses is between $3 and $4 billion, right? So all of those things add up. It's important that you manage your costs really thoroughly and well. And as you price your product or your service, make sure that you cover all your costs and provide something for a desired profit. In the end, you are going to be in business to make a profit. And understand that all costs don't have the same kind of a nature. Some of your costs are going to be fixed regardless of the volume that you sell, and some of the costs are going to vary. And then there might be some which are kind of a blend of the two. So understand all those things well. And when you do that, you'll be able to really run your business efficiently. And there'll be a need to put in controls of all kinds, accounting systems, cash management systems, inventory management systems, insurances, many other things, which I said are really logistics. But the bottom line in the end is please make sure that once again, that you run a business that's legal and it's ethical. And by far the most important thing is make sure that there is a sustainable demand for your product or your service at a price which is greater than the cost. So that to me is the basics of starting a business. And I do want to share with you next what would be a methodology for you to be able to meet with me. And once again, Tanya and Suganya and Steve will share this information with you.
Yep.
So the first thing you have to do is to be able to register to become a client of the SBDC. And we have provided a link here where you will go in and provide your information. That will give us then the information that we need. And please complete it to the best of your ability, giving us some indication as to what it is that you're interested in doing and how we can help you.
And this will be, I sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Sudarshan, but I was going to say that we will be sharing this information with everyone who wants this contact information as soon as you complete the survey that we send out. So that's how you'll actually access it. So.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. And once you've completed that registration information, then you'll be able to set a one-on-one appointment with me using my Calendly account link, and that will be provided too. Just know that I'm available on Wednesday afternoons, and I'm able to take 4 half-hour appointments, and the timing is there on Calendly for you to be able to take advantage. So just make sure that you do complete your registration ahead of time. Because if you don't, then we won't be able to have a valuable conversation and we may have to reschedule you, right? So that's what I wanted to share with you folks. I am a pro-business person and have never been deterred by failure. So as you folks embark upon your entrepreneurial careers, be prepared to take some risks, right? It's okay to take a risk and it's okay to have a failure. Just make sure that you have considered the consequences of that failure and use that as a learning thing, and always, you don't have to necessarily set up a huge organization and things like that to start a business. And I'm sure Tanya and your other professors have talked to you about it. There are ways to be able to start in a lean manner to be able to validate the concept that you have. So remember, initially, you will have a hypothesis of this kind, of some kind, saying, I think I can sell this, but the truth really comes in validating that hypothesis. And that's where your mentors will be able to help you. So I will, Tanya, with your permission, take any questions or any other comments.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sudarshan. I can't thank you enough. That was a great advice and really informative workshop. So questions from the audience. Let's see if we have, it doesn't look like we have any in the chat. Does anybody have any questions that they'd like to shout out and ask Sudarshan now?
Yes, my name is Howard Bertrand. I was just curious, I could just come to you with any idea I have for a business and you guys would be able to help guide me and mentor me on where I need to go to, or what I would need to do to get the business started? Is this the concept of the SDBC?
Well, when it comes to your business idea, we're going to be your guides, but you're going to have to do a lot of work yourself, right? So like I said, you're going to have a hypothesis that I think I can sell this and there's a demand for it. And, but you need to do some validation. So even in a lean canvas kind of a methodology, you need to do some research. You need to be able to talk to some people and say, look, I'm thinking of selling whatever. And get feedback from some people.
And can I interject here just for a
Please.
moment, Sudarshan? So I have a question for you. Again, what was the name of the person asking the question?
My name is Howard.
Howard. Okay. So are you in one of the classes at Miramar or at STSU?
In your Business 100 class?
Perfect. Okay. Oh, in Business 100. Okay. So we definitely go through the whole customer validation and business validation lean methodology in some of the entrepreneurship specific classes, which would help. Like Sudarshan said, you can get a lot of advice from the SBDC, but you're better off having gone through the validation process first before, before trying. Don't you agree, Sudarshan? Before trying to get that, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, so this is Ray. Hi.
Hi, Ray.
There's a big difference between SCORE and SBDC mentoring.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I hope you don't mind, Sudarshan, but the whole point is that if you have just an idea and you just want to see where it sticks, that's SCORE. Sudarshan is really, if I'm misspeaking, please speak up. But my understanding is that what you guys do is you're focused, right? So people have a business criteria or challenges, they come to you. Whereas we're kind of, from a SCORE perspective, we're kind of open. Whatever the heck you have, you can ask.
And of course, SCORE and SBDC are sister organizations, and SCORE brings a lot of very, very talented people. Many of them, probably all of them, from senior executive positions, and they're giving back to the community, and great folks to be able to have a conversation with you to, like Tanya was saying, of course, utilize the REC first and what you're doing there, but SCORE can provide a lot of help. And of course, once you have determined what it is that you want to sell, the logistics of setting up your business, or if you're already in a business and want to grow it, we can help you with that.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good point. Thank you. Thank you, Ray.
Oh,
So
no, it's just because otherwise I wouldn't have said anything, but it was just that because normally all your students who are in a rec and whatever are already pretty focused on
Yeah.
specifics, right?
Yeah, they're maybe a little further along, but I think when you're just at that very beginning idea stage, probably there are better ways to get support. Agreed. Sudarshan is more for once you validated that idea and you're ready for some more really kind of more focused, dedicated support. So yeah, Stephen, it looked like you had a question there.
I didn't have a question. I was just going to read a question from the chat.
Okay.
So we have Francisco asking, what is the most important thing to focus on once a service business is already running?
So my assumption, Steve, in this case is that this particular person who's making the inquiry has got a service business. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can speak up, Francisco, if you want to ask the question or type in the chat to clarify.
So Francisco, are you there?
A fitness gym. So like a service fitness gym. Got it.
Oh, okay. It looks like he can't unmute himself. Yeah.
So this is somebody who has a gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is it an online gym at this time, or is it in a brick and mortar facility?
And
no online. So
what do you mean no online? Is it online or not online? It's a little difficult when if at all possible, any of you, if you can actually talk, it's easier, but not online.
In-person gym.
An in-person
An in-person gym. So obviously they're probably having a lot of challenges at this time because of the COVID-19. But once again, gyms have to survive on clientele, right? And usually it's important to make sure that those are repeat clienteles. Those are repeat clients. You do not want to have to be replacing clients all the time. So you want to have a steady base, and then you'll be able to grow it. So like everything else, I think in the end, what value does your gym provide, which is not available anywhere else, so that you can excel? And I've had clients here during COVID-19 who actually did pivot from an in-person gym to an online program, and are doing extremely well. So I think looking at what the needs of your customers are and what might be your competition in the area, you have to try and find some ways to be able to stand out. I'll give you another example. I have a family member who's a chiropractor and wanted to start his own business. This was several years ago. And so he came to me for advice and said, what do you think? Should I start by myself or join with somebody else? And I said, well, you're young enough and it's okay to be able to take that risk and start yourself. But I do have a concern based on my own experiences with a chiropractor. And he asked me, what are those concerns? And I said, my concern is I go into a chiropractor and he spends maybe 5 minutes with me and bills me $55. I feel like I've been cheated, right? So he said, well, what should I do then? I said, well, provide some additional services. When people come into your chiropractic service, maybe have some roller tables, people can lie down on it, do a little massage, provide a little mat where they can sit down and do some meditation. So if they are there with you for half an hour, doing all these activities, and then you do the adjustment and they leave, that $55 doesn't seem to be as painful, right? So, well, he did take that advice, and he could not keep up with the customers he had. So I think in each industry that we have to find out what really is it that we can do over and beyond what is expected of us without necessarily sinking costs into that, which we cannot recover. So your marketing, your presentation, the quality of the service, the quality of your facilities in the case of a gym, and how you maintain hygiene standards and things like that, particularly in COVID, will all be important. So run that business in such a manner that people say, hey, that's the gym I want to go to.
Thank you, Sudarshan. Okay, we have another question from Martin. And he asks, does the SBDC assist with business formation? For example, forming an LLC?
Yes, let me, okay, so we are not attorneys or CPAs, so we do not give tax or legal advice. However, within our organization, we have many people, including myself, who have been entrepreneurs who know how to set up, a very basic organization. And in the state of California, it's not that difficult. Forming an LLC or a corporation, whether it's a C or an S corporation, is something that we can provide assistance and guidance on. A lot of that work can be accomplished by working with us online. Yes, we can do that.
Thank you, Martin, for the question. Does anybody else have any questions for Sudarshan while we still have him here?
I have a quick question.
Really?
Hi, Sudarshan. Nice to see you again.
Yes.
I'm trying to get my camera here. I opened up a. Okay, so I was wondering if you are able to help with tech. I have a fully developed app, and my software engineer is struggling to upload it onto Google Firebase. Is there any way that, and I actually have a meeting with you next Wednesday, and I have like 4 different things I wanted just advice or mentorship with, but this is the big one. So do you have any connections that can help with maybe mentoring my, because he's just out of school as well. We got him from the Coder Connection through Rec, and so he's learning as we go as well.
Unfortunately, we don't have anybody on our team who specializes in that area, but I don't know, maybe Tanya, you have some.
Yeah, we're working with each other on that. I just thought maybe I'd throw that out there.
Yeah.
And then another thing is that we just had a great workshop on diversity certifications. Are you able to help guide our team in applying for those type of things? I have a general idea, but.
Are you talking about applying to be certified as a diverse kind of a business, like a minority or a woman-owned or something like that? Is that what you're talking about?
Both, yes.
So we do all of that, whether it's a veteran, disabled veteran, woman-owned, minority-owned, LGBT, whatever it is. Yeah, we can help with those kind of certifications.
Okay, that's great. That's really all I need to ask. There's maybe one more thing, and that would be, do you guys advise on grant writing or the things that are needed specifically when you put in for a grant?
No.
Okay, 2 no's and a yes. All right, thank you. I will see you next Wednesday.
All right, I look forward to it. Have a good one.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Billy. Thank you.
Sure.
And just a reminder to everyone who is here, we will be having our regular rec lab hours at 2:30 p.m. And anybody who would like to have any of the contact information, the slides from today, please do complete the survey that Stephen is putting in the chat. And even if you don't need that contact information, please, we would love your feedback. It's very helpful for us when we're building out these programs. And do we have any other questions? I wanted to make sure I didn't step on anyone's toes. Okay, no questions then.
Looks like one question.
Okay, great, go ahead. Stephen, did you have the question?
Yeah, Angelo raised his hand. If you want to unmute yourself and ask Angelo, that'd be great. Maybe it was an accident.
Sorry, yeah, I was just gonna, I didn't see the link in the chat, but I see it now, so.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and make sure the link is working. Yeah, we'll send the link again. I think for some people that got kicked out and then came back in, the link might not have been working. So I'll go ahead and put it in again. And yeah, great. So I think if there are any more questions.
Tanya, I just want to add one more comment.
I was just, yeah, please do. You can take us out, Sudarshan.
Yeah, over the last 12, 13 months, we've been helping a lot of people with the CARES Act funding.
Yes.
Under the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, as well as the Paycheck Protection Program.
Yeah.
So actually have helped people get probably within our network over $100 million in funding through those programs, as well as the California Relief Grant. And there is a supplement coming to the California Relief Grant in the next couple of weeks, hopefully.
I saw that.
About $1.5 billion.
I saw that.
But
So-
it's pretty restrictive as to who can get it. One of the biggest challenges in there is that you actually have had to have a shutdown because of COVID-19.
So so what he's talking about, these are actually grant funds. So grant funds means you don't have to pay them back. They're going to be available to small business owners, to entrepreneurs, but this is for people who are further along that do have existing operations and had shutdowns because of it. So if you fit that criteria, take advantage. There's free money out there for you, right?
And one thing I want to add,
because a lot of us, Sudishan, the problem is a lot of us start at the virtual. And you really have to prove a need that you were affected by COVID. So for most of us, don't do this if you're going to put yourself at risk, okay? Or us, meaning the whole system. So please think this through.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Actually, I tried to qualify for one of these grants due to COVID, and it looks like my business is too new. Qualify.
Yeah.
So I actually opened in October. So if I'm not mistaken, you can only apply if you were open
before
earlier. Yeah.
That's correct. You're absolutely right, Francisco. This is only for people who are open prior to the shutdown orders, prior to March of 2020.
So February 15th, 2020 was the date. If you were in business at that time, then you could have qualified. But then again, you had to show that you were impacted by COVID-19.
Right.
But if you started your business in January 2020 and had very little revenue, then it's difficult to kind of prove that.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, even some of us that were technically open then, if we didn't have a really clear verifiable impact, it's difficult to prove. So yeah, they're hard to get those funds, but there are other funds available. So there are other things that you can do. So don't let that deter you.
Yes.
From looking. Yeah. And so Sudarshan, I'll let you take us out. Anything else that you want to share with
I have one thing. So if you already took the survey, I actually went back and added a slot to optionally put your email so I can actually send you the information. So if you took it again, please take it again right now.
Oh, whoopsie. Sorry about that. It looks like we had a little mistake on that survey. We forgot to put the email in there. So yeah, please do. That way we can actually send that to you. Appreciate it. Thanks for fixing that, Stephen. Appreciate that. Anything else? All right, Sudarshan, you want to take us out?
Well, thank you. Appreciate it. And I look forward to working with many of you.
Thank you. All right, everyone. Thanks so much.
Thanks again.
Tanya,